So, some of you may know me from my previous hair extension supplies business or from my existing professional hair extension supply business. Some of you won't. I started out around 20 years ago, before social media was a thing, and I first grew my business until 2016. I started out with my business because, quite simply, I couldn't find what I needed to buy elsewhere. I'm a serial problem solver, and I looked how to get it, and my business was born. I started from home and quickly filled the spare room and living room, needing premises soon after starting trading for the sake of my marriage and if we were ever going to find the cat again amongst the boxes. I grew organically. I was a member of an internet forum for alternative hair extensions and simply posted about my new business there. From that one initial post, the orders started coming in. I didn't even post about it thereafter as far as I remember, yet the orders steadily started increasing. Customers became regulars. I did some markets and some magazine ads, but mostly I concentrated on website SEO. Before I knew it, I was the top result of Google for products I was selling and held that top spot for a number of years. All of this before the birth of the likes of Facebook and Instagram. Things were going great. I moved into a self-storage unit and went each day to pick and pack orders and to freeze. Storage units are a great place to run your business, but be warned, a building made of concrete and metal is very cold in winter. I think at one point I was wearing 3 jumpers, 2 pairs of trousers, a coat and some gloves, and trying to pack orders while shivering. So yes, it was all going great, but business is hard and things will happen beyond your control that just want to ruin everything, and my God did they do that for me. Mainly couriers losing packages, but we pushed through and kept going. I finally had the opportunity to move out of storage after a couple of years, which meant windows. I can't tell you how good that felt to get a huge, bright, open space to work from and grow. Still no heating though, as no budget for refurbishments at this stage. You know, because Hertfordshire premises rent is extortionate. This is us moving in. Bit of a mess. I did take this short video at the time. It's literally the only video I have of it, and it's messy and out of focus, but it's a nice little memory to have. Now everyone seems to video everything. I wish I'd done that at the time. This was our packing station. And then where we put the picked orders ready to pack, and our stock, which we used to store in vegetable boxes because it was free to get them from the supermarket, although you did get some strange looks, and they fitted the hair perfectly. And then stations to do whatever we were working on at the time. I think it was making colourings 90% of the time. And then silly little kitchen, sofa, mess, and desks. I hit a point around 2015 where the business was growing faster than we had ever imagined. I'd hired a member of staff and we were selling out of things quickly, but the increased business costs were stopping us from buying in as much stock as we'd have liked, and when we did order things in, we were lucky if insert courier here would deliver it in one piece. We were hit with ridiculous business rates disproportionate to the business, and things felt really strained. We met with a financial advisor and enterprise loans company and chatted through our options. They knew us from working with us previously, and we were promised a cash injection that would help us continue to grow. It was just a matter of waiting for the paperwork as a formality. We waited some more, and we were really pushing the business to the limit in the meantime to hold on long enough. Then, 3 months later, we were told that actually no. Their business didn't get the funding it needed to fund any more of its clients, and just like that, things changed. For some reason, I'd taken a picture of my coffee that morning. It was freezing in the unit and about 7 a.m. in the morning as I'd just been dropped off at work. Did I mention I'd broken my foot? Yes, well, that happened a couple of weeks prior, walking up the stairs to the office. Yes, up, I am that skillful. So I could no longer drive and had to be dropped off and picked up each day. Anyway, as if that wasn't painful enough, this was the day that we got the no funding news. This simple picture of my morning coffee now symbolises the beginning of the end to me. I remember sitting on the stairs outside the office after hanging up and thinking, what now? We've made it this far, and to go backwards was really scary. But like I've said, I'm a problem solver. The cogs were already turning, and by the next day I had a plan. Back to self-storage we go. Not a huge move, as it's only next door as part of the same building. Did I mention that? So, about 50,000 journeys back and forth with a trolley, and we were moved back into storage. We had Tetrised the shit out of that storage unit, as by that time rental prices had increased so much and we needed to cut costs. The realities of being a business owner. Whilst moving, I had to look at other income streams for the business. I'm a fully qualified hairdresser and hair extensions technician, and was currently only doing a few clients on a mobile basis while I waited to concentrate on the retail business. It had been this way for years, but what if I started doing more of that? There was a small room on the ground floor of the building our office had been in. It wasn't being used and was just big enough to make a small one-client studio space, so I bit the bullet and renovated it into a tiny salon and started seeing clients. Things were looking up. Then Brexit hit. Sadly, this meant the end for us. Brexit affected exchange rates so dramatically that the knock-on effect of couriers and increasing prices meant our already stretched margins were wiped out overnight. The kicker to this was that we had stock in transit that still needed paying for, and by the time it landed with us, we had actually lost money on it. It was time to make the hardest decision of all and call it a day. Head has to rule over heart after all. We sold our stock to another business and we moved out of storage. I kept the website and the business name to host my hair services business, and on the off chance that things would get better in future. I was thankful that I'd set up the studio space, was starting to get clients in, and still had an income at least. It was just as I was winding the business down that I got a call from a business I'd worked with for years. They'd supplied products to me for my services and were retiring. They asked if I was interested in their business, and I was. Discussions were had, but I wasn't financially viable at the time, and another party ended up purchasing. However, they offered me a job and I couldn't turn it down. I ended up commuting miles each week to the existing business location until they finally moved closer. It was all great for a while, but it was hard seeing a company I'd worked with for years creep in a direction that I didn't feel right. In the end, due to differences, I ended up deciding to leave. It wasn't my intention to set up on my own, but around early 2019 I had a need for the product still and contacted the supplier. This resulted in them inviting me, all expenses paid, to China to visit them and the factory and discuss a future partnership. Anyone who knows me will tell you what a big deal this was for me. I hate flying, I'm generally a bit agoraphobic and a bit hermity, so going to China on my own, by plane, I couldn't pass it up though, so off I went, fully out of my comfort zone. It took everything in me to go through those departure gates. I was purchasing a whiskey as a gift for them though, so I did manage to calm my nerves in duty free with a few samples. When I got there, I had a week of being treated like royalty and seeing all their supply chain, and I couldn't have asked for nicer hosts. So back I came to the UK, but with a plan, a deal in place and a load of stock coming for a new professional hair extension supply business. If you need hair, that's the same website. I spent the next months creating a website and doing all the business setting up, getting a trademark, registering domains, taking product photos, etc. Stock arrived, and early autumn 2019 I was open. Sales were slow and steady, as expected, and I was also doing hair extensions for more and more clients. Then the pandemic hit. It was March 2020, and midway through the month I had decided not to wait any longer for the government to lock down, and I closed the salon and business until further notice. A week later we were locked down. What now? I'm a hairdresser and I retail hair. I'm in trouble. Lockdown, I spent digging the garden up, drawing and doing another teaching course, and chasing grants I would be due. Thankfully, I was due some. However, the pandemic meant that I went from making a good living with loads of clients to nearly none when we were allowed to return. I've come back to work as a startup in both businesses yet again, and grant money doesn't even touch the sides when you're paying outgoings for 19 months and then some. I had to pivot and diversify again. I looked at exchange rates and prices and the mountains of emails from clients of my original business asking me to come back, and thought this could work. I invested in some stock and bought the old business back from the dead. I had an amazing launch day and the reaction from past and new customers was amazing. It was all going great, but I was back in my home again and had forgotten how much space it took up. I looked at storage unit costs and they had increased so much that it made no financial sense. Was this going to work? After much umming and ahhing, I decided that logistically and personally, for a number of reasons, it wasn't going to work. I'd had the interest in the business from a couple of parties out of the blue, and I thought I'd send a message to them and others to see if anyone was interested to buy. It was only starting up again, but the business had a good name and a good rep. My competitors bought the business in the end. So weird. These people, if we were in a cartoon, would be my arch nemesis, but in real life are just lovely, well-meaning people doing everything they can for their business. It's been fun chatting to them about all the things we did at the time that had us both guessing. A prime example of it's not personal, it's business. I can now be happy that the business we put so much effort into over the years is in the hands of people that care about it and will continue to grow it and elevate it. So overall, I'm happy with the decision and somewhat got my house back. We found the cat, he's fine. So here we are, Raviga. I'd been learning about, doing courses for and dabbling in cosmetic formulation for a while, and it felt like it went well with the hair extension business that I was already running. I spent a year researching everything needed to set up and understanding all of the regulations thoroughly. For those who would rather not sit Googling and making phone calls and reading books for over a year to pick out excerpts of info, I have an ebook you may like called How to Legally Start a Cosmetics Business in the UK. It's available on the website. Raviga is really a business born out of love of creating things, designing things and teaching things. Once you wade through the rules and regulations, running a cosmetics brand is a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to growing that side of the business as I did the others. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos, as I'll be doing lots more formulations to make yourself, giving tips and advice and sharing everything I've learned in my 20 plus years of business in the hair and beauty sector. Thanks for watching.